He's a little antsy.
I would like to call our regular meeting of December 13th to order. May I have roll call, please?
Mr. Kudrick?
Present.
Ms. Lonassi?
Present.
Ms. White?
Present.
Mr. McCavage?
Here.
Ms. Frere?
Present.
Ms. Buckley?
Here.
Ms. Roscoe here?
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Superintendent Carr, is there any changes in our agenda?
Yes, the second item C, we should call C1, and it would be physical education presentation and introduction of winter coaches. Or winter coaches and presentation, okay?
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the agenda with the changes.
Support. Okay, any questions on the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of our previous meeting minutes. May I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Support.
Any questions on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Superintendent Carr.
Mr. Clark, personnel recommendations for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Members of the board, I have several personnel actions for you tonight. First one is a motion by the board to accept employment of personnel as submitted. Employment of Mr. Stephen Willer, mathematics teacher at Community High School.
May I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
Any questions?
Just one question. Mr. Clark, was this a vacant position?
It's a newly created position.
Newly created.
Does that mean we were in need of a math teacher?
Exactly.
Was it due to increased enrollment?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Great. Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. Our next is for your information, employment of Mr. Gary Andreone, bus aide for transportation, and Ms. Cheryl Bowen, French fryer at Senior High School. The next personnel action is for your information, leave of absence, educational leaves of absence for Ms. Lori Berlin, media technician, and Ms. Diane Zakiewicz. And our next is a retirement, also for your information, Ms. Pat Sprinkle, custodian, Barth Elementary. Our next action is a resignation, also for your information. Ms. Abby Atkins, our head bookkeeper, who's going to be dearly missed, who's taken a position with the city of Romulus.
Mr. Clark, before you proceed, are there any questions on any FYIs?
Just one more question, Mr. Clark.
Yes.
Are we still hiring? I know we were at a shortage for bus aides and bus drivers. How are we coming along with that?
We're always looking for bus aides and bus drivers.
Thank you.
Madam
Ms.
Chairman,
McCavage? Yes.
on the position for the French fryer at the high school, is that a new position or is that a replacement?
It's not a new position, it's a replacement.
Okay.
Any others?
And one more question. I think it was a FYI for the media tech. Was that one of the? Maybe not.
Lori Berlin.
That's an education.
That's what I-
Educational
This
lead.
is what's coming up now, the video.
Okay. So that's starting in January.
Right.
So is there somebody gonna replace her, or how is that gonna work out?
Okay, good question. For Ms. Berlin, we're going to utilize our current media techs. And we're going to take the media techs from the different buildings, and they're going to rotate to help Hell Creek with their media tech position. Okay.
And they're aware of that, or?
Yes.
So they've been told already?
They've been told. We also have, I should say Ed Horn, our Director of Technology, has also met with the building principals to get them a schedule of what that rotation is going to look like also.
Okay.
Any other questions?
On the bookkeeping position, where are we at with?
The posting for the bookkeeper position will be up tomorrow. I would say we have somewhere between 40 to 50 resumes that have been submitted to us. Right, we just counted them up today. It's just been an outstanding response to the position. And I think Bill and I are going to start our interviews after the holidays.
So, but we can survive until we fill it.
We're going to have Shirley Lambertson, who has recently retired but has now met her obligations to stay away, if you will, from the district. Did occupy that position some 4 or 5 years ago. So she's agreed on an interim basis to help us out until we hire somebody in their employees.
Thank you.
Madam
So
Chair.
Nancy, yes.
Ed, I wanted to ask you this before. Are we bringing in, this is inside applications you've taken, right?
For
They're
which position?
outside?
Open and competitive. For the
Okay.
bookkeeper.
Yes, outside. And we have some internal people that have applied also.
Okay,
Yes.
The best person will get the job.
That's right.
yeah.
This is a promotion for anybody who's inside.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Okay, go ahead.
And for our last personnel action, a motion is needed by the board to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and approve settlement agreement with Local 64, Council 25, ASME for the classification of the video technician. Employees in the classification shall be included in the Local 64 Council ASME bargaining unit. And the settlement agreement is attached.
May I have a motion, please?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the video technician settlement agreement.
Support. Any questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Mr. Ruth here, bills for payment.
Superintendent Carr, President Buckley, members of the Board of Education, we have for your approval this evening registers, 7 registers totaling $1,278,406.99. The questions that were asked prior to the meeting have been addressed. All we need is board approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills for payment.
Support.
Any questions on the bills? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Mr. Dolan, we have a cast of thousands here
Yes,
tonight.
practically dressed out.
Very impressive.
The PE teachers and the PE, quality of the PE course is always a good indicator on the quality of the school.
Yeah.
We got some of the best. We have with us Mr. Woodson, who is going to introduce the ball coaches. It's nice of you to
Okay.
Then we're gonna have a short PE program. Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to thank, first of all, you, the board members, for allowing for me to be here tonight, as well as all my winter coaches and the PE teachers. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to introduce my winning coaches, starting in the back first. Starting with our varsity head volleyball coach is Harry Hunter.
Harry.
Our head JV volleyball coach is his daughter, Dina Hunter. And our freshman head volleyball coach is Rachel Broom. And our head wrestling varsity coach, and he's also the head junior varsity football coach, is David Cooper. Here we have coach, our head freshman boys basketball coach, and also assistant football coach is Avery Taylor. He also works in the districts over at the high school, along with Coach Cooper. Our boys head JV coach is Coach Josh Baker. And finally, our head boys varsity coach is Coach Nate Oakes. I just want to say that all the winter coaches right now, it's early in the season, but they're off to a good start. The men's basketball team is off to a 2-0, as well as the JV. Freshman team is 1-0. Wrestling right now hasn't had any dual meets, but they have competition in some meets over the weekend, tournaments and so forth, as well as the volleyball team. They have a volleyball tournament this weekend. Okay, I just want to thank all the coaches for taking your time, especially the basketball coaches and volleyball coaches right now, because they got to get back to practice, but they took the time out because they thought it was important. They wanted to come here tonight to get a chance to for me to introduce them tonight. All right, and I just want to say, wish the rest of you all the best of luck this winter sports.
Mr. Woodson,
Yes.
our volleyball coaches, aren't there former volleyball players and former students, correct?
Yes, both of them. Yes, Dana and
Glad to
Dina.
have you.
Yes, they
Glad to
both
have
are. Glad to have them back with us.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, they was on that mega championship team. Well, good,
I
good,
thought
good to
so.
hear that.
Five former students.
Ms. White, you must have, Ms. White, you must have some questions for basketball.
I have got a question.
I want an outfit.
I want to know when the head coach is going to get a haircut. He's got his freshman and
Okay.
Got to be uniform, Mr. Oates.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you, coaches.
That's how you play the game.
Question.
Debbie's here.
Yeah, she's over in the corner.
Okay, at this time, we're going to move right on. Our PE teachers, what they have today, they have a presentation they would like to present to you board members tonight. And starting off with the presentation, we will start with the elementary schools, and presenting for them will be Anthony Halasco, presenting tonight for the elementary schools.
Thank you.
Mr. Baum's going to be passing out some
Thank
our presentation for you here, so you can
Thank
kind of
you.
maybe follow.
For you now.
I do.
Viewer, isn't it? What happened?
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, William.
Before we get started, I'll introduce to you the rest of my colleagues here in the phys ed department. Start with the elementary school. Mr. Bill Baum right there, who teaches at Rommel. Sheila Stazak, who teaches at Barth Elementary. Pat McCullum, who is at Merriman and Corey. Gail Millsball in the back there, who is also at Hale Creek and Corey. And I myself am at Wick and Corey. So, I'm sorry, I got to go through the middle school too. I'll cover the middle school while we're at it. Kelly Cabani and Keith Brothers in the middle school. The high school, we have Jennifer Johnson, Norbert Glover, and Jason Balcom. And at Alternative, we have Tim Jager. So we're all here in our nice new shirts that we got. So.
They're very nice.
Thank you, thank
Do
you.
you look so nice?
Very uniform.
What we put together for you this evening is just a little PowerPoint presentation on, give you an idea on what we do in our class, why we do it, why we're so passionate about our job, and why we think it's so important. So. And what we'll do is we'll start with the elementary. I'll give this presentation, and we'll move on to Kelly and Keith doing the middle. Jennifer's going to do the high school, and Jason will cover our swim program. And then Sheila will come up to finish up for us. So. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There it goes. Okay. Basically, just our mission statement. It provides all of our students the knowledge and skills and fitness and attitude to lead a healthy life. I know I can speak for the rest of us when we feel right now phys ed is more important than it has ever been with the increase in obesity rates. And due to the increase in obesity rates, the increase in type 2 diabetes with our children. A quick stat right here is 13% of our children, 6 to 11, in the United States are overweight. And it's tripled in the last 20 years. So it's kind of frightening. And what really hits home with us is Michigan is #2 in the nation in overweight children. So it's a scary time. It's a scary thought to think of our children that way. But more and more, our children are going home and sitting on the couch with video games and computers, and they're not getting out with their friends, and they're not signing up for rec programs and things like that. So basically, the purpose of our program is to provide our students with developmentally appropriate activities that will facilitate the acquisition of physical and social skills, a knowledge base, and an attitude that's conducive to physical activity throughout their life. And more important, just to get our kids in with us to be physically active, we want to introduce them to as many activities, as many sports, as many skills as possible, so they'll continue to do it. Okay, not just come in and get them physically active. We want to teach them how to live a healthy life. Okay, maybe they'll learn something with us and they'll want to go home to mom and tell them we want to play in the rec league, or they want to play it in the middle school, or play it in the high school and just continue to play it throughout their life. So that's really what we are trying to do. Some action photos of our students enjoying our classrooms. We offer a variety of things for our students to do. Most of our schools have tracks, some kind of walking track or running track outside. Some of our schools have climbing walls, or one of our schools has climbing walls. So we offer just a variety of fun things and that our kids really enjoy and really learn how to be physically active. So, our curriculum itself is based on the 1999 content and benchmark standards set forth by the state of Michigan. We are also, which I know this is probably pretty important to you, we are also incorporating our NCAA goals into our curriculum, math, reading, and writing. I'll give you an example of how I do it at my school. For math, we have something called POW, or Problem of the Week. And what I do is I get together with the classroom teachers and kind of go over what our kids are learning in math. And I try to incorporate it into phys ed. Not only just to see how math works into phys ed, but what it also does for our teachers is it gets them more data. We write down a problem, I make it into a phys ed type of problem, put it on the board. Our students do it. We take it to their teachers, we correct it, and it gets them a little more data to use to see where their kids are at with learning it. It gives them, if they have to reteach it or not. This is usually a lesson that the kids have already learned. Okay, I'm a month behind the teachers, just so they already know it. And so I just kind of take it and incorporate it into phys ed. And what it does, it just helps out our teachers a little more in the classroom if they have to go back and reteach it to certain students or not. So it really helps out really nice. And teachers really enjoy it too. So besides that, a typical day in our class, our students will usually walk in, sit in their assigned rows so we can see who's absent and who's got their shoes and proper attire. We'll move on to a warm-up activity, which could be a light run, stretching, agility work, something to that effect. We'll move into the actual instructional phase. What are we learning tonight? What are we learning today? You know, what activities are we going to do? What skills are we going to learn? How do we learn these? Then we move into the actual activity phase itself, which usually will last 30 to 35 minutes, getting them going, getting them moving. And it could be a game, could be stations, could be drills, whatever we're going to be doing that day. Then the last probably couple minutes of class, we'll have just a wrap-up and cool down, putting away the equipment, get them some drinks, settle them down before they have to go back to class. You know, our teachers wouldn't like us very much if we take them right off the basketball court sweating and smelling and all crazy and send them back to class and expect them to sit in a chair. So we have to cool them down. We go over what we learned for the day, and that's about it. Twice a year, in the fall and in the spring, we give our students physical fitness tests. They get tested in 5 different areas: sit-ups, pull-ups, sit and reach, shuttle run, and a mile run. And what we do is we take those scores in the fall and compare them to the scores in the spring. And those students that improved will get a certificate of improvement if they improved from their fall to their spring scores. Also, if they pass 3 out of the 5 fitness tests, they're considered physically fit, and we'll give them a nice ribbon. And also, I know I do, and I know Bill and other people at their schools, our 6th graders only, we do this for. At the end of the year, at their moving up ceremony or their graduation, if our 6th graders were able to pass all 5 of them, we'll get them a special medal or a special trophy, just you know, to show their achievement too. So it's kind of neat to see what the kids match. Now, probably the most important reason for most of us now is why is physical activity so important for the brain? And there's been numerous case studies showing that students that receive daily physical activity, their test scores are better than those students that don't receive daily physical activity. Okay, so it's proven that physical activity really does, like it says, one of the best ways to maximize their brain is through exercise and movement. I just think it gets them more alert, more attentive when they're back to class instead of, you know, I mean, if they have to sit and take a meet for 3 hours, they're going to get a little drowsy and everything. It's nice to get them moving out, and it's been proven that it does maximize the brain. So, we also give our students lessons in reproductive health and HIV and AIDS. Our 5th and 6th grade students, boys and girls, receive 2 sessions of reproductive health. Our 4th grade girls receive 1 session of growth and development. Our 6th grade boys and girls also receive an additional 2 sessions of HIV and AIDS education. We as a department have coordinated the whole curriculum. We put together everything we have, and it was approved by the school board. So. Probably the highlight and the most exciting day of our year is our 6th grade field day. This is where we get all the 6th graders from all the 6 elementary schools. 1 day in May usually, and I think it's May 17th, so mark that down on your calendar. It's a fun day to come out. What we do is we get all the 6th grade students of all the elementary schools over to the field day. We have kind of a field day. They compete against each other in numerous events, and we have a traveling trophy to the winner, and I think it's been at WIC for many years now. Sorry. Anyways, it stays that it barely has enough people, so most of the time. So. Anyways, the point of the day is really just to promote good sportsmanship and have a lot of fun. And what it really does is get our kids together, kind of to meet and greet each other. And what it does is helps makes that transition to the middle school a little bit easier when they get over there. They recognize some faces from the field day, and I actually wish we had more days like this. It's a neat day, and like I said, it's one of the best days we have of the year. So. Some of the other programs we do in our PE highlights, we have ACEs, all children exercise simultaneously. That's 1 day a year. Supposedly every student in the country is exercising at the same time. We do some learning to give where we have jump rope for heart and hoops for heart, walk for diabetes. I know I did a Hurricane Havoc walk this year, to help the hurricane victims with our kids. And our kids really enjoy these. And they really, truly do like to help other people. So. Also, something really neat this year, we were all awarded pedometers for our kids. Just enough maybe for a couple kids, but it's something new that we're trying. If you're not familiar with what pedometers are, they're little gadgets you kind of click on your belt, and they got a little clicker in there, and every time you take a step, it counts how many steps you take. And you can see how many miles you've walked in a day and how many calories you're burning. It's kind of neat to try to, we're trying to throw it into our curriculum and integrate it in there. Some are better at it than most, but it's kind of neat to try new things. We can also get into the technology part and take our kids into the computers, into the kayaks, and they can kind of graph their steps each day. It's kind of neat, some of the things we're doing. Another stat here, childhood obesity is responsible for 50% of the new cases of pediatric diabetes, sleep apnea, and asthma. Again, more and more kids are just not getting the physical activity that they need, and it's on the rise. All of those are on the rise. So. In closing, I'd just like to say I'm honored and privileged to work with such a great, dedicated group of teachers. The passion we have for our children and our profession is just enormous, and we really are passionate about the health and wellness of our children, and it's really a privilege to work with these guys. We work very well together. So I'm going to hand it over to Kelly and Keith, and they're going to go through the middle school, and Jennifer and Jason will follow behind them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Went quick. They gave you some statistics already, so we're just going to run through our program itself at the middle school. Before we do that, I also coach girls basketball, 7th grade girls basketball, and I'm the student activities director at the middle school. As far as our curriculum is concerned, our curriculum is based off of the Michigan Content Standards and benchmarks for physical education also. We also support our NCA goals through our curriculum. Our goals are in writing, reading, and problem solving, critical thinking skills. We do a research paper with our kids. We do 6+1 writing. We support it through Johns Hopkins, some of the professional development that we've had throughout the years. We incorporate that into our program. We also integrate technology into the curriculum. The students go into the kayaks and utilize them for researching materials or for creating PowerPoint presentations on a career. The goals of the Romulus Middle School physical education curriculum is to promote a healthy lifestyle. And like Anthony has said, he's told you about the statistics, and it is kind of scary seeing what's happening to our youth. We also want to introduce our students to lifelong participation in activities. You know, you might not always be able to play basketball, you know, up there as you get older, but you can do tennis, you can do golf, you can walk, you can do whatever it takes to get you moving, okay? We encourage our students to work cooperatively in order to accomplish tasks. Teamwork, a big thing, obviously, in sports. And then we want to develop sportsmanship, respect for one another, winning and losing in the right way. We promote service learning projects. Hoops for Heart is our service learning project. The students basically go out, get some pledges. They participate in a 3-on-3 tournament, and they also participate in a hot shot contest. The winners not only get the prizes for their pledge money, but they also are awarded T-shirts, individual T-shirts for the 3-on-3 contest and our final hot shot winner. And now Keith will finish it up.
Hello, my name is Keith Brothers. I'm the male PE teacher at the middle school and also the middle school baseball coach. What I'm here to talk to you about tonight is our physical fitness testing and some of the team sports. But as the physical fitness testing, we pretty much follow the same as the elementary schools with the presidential physical fitness test. There's 5 things that we offer. Anthony had went through those earlier. But we offer them 4 times a year because we change classes in January after the first semester. So we have one in one in September, one in January. The other one will be in February, and then at the end of the school year in June. Some of the team sports that we focus on at the middle school focus on basketball, volleyball, flag football, softball, soccer, floor hockey, and team handball. I know that Mr. Dolan had a chance to stop in and seen my class playing floor hockey, and Kelly's class, I believe, was playing volleyball at the time. So, so far my classes have been through 6 different activities this year so far, and we still have 4.5 weeks left. As Kelly talked about earlier, the lifetime sports that we are going to be covering: tennis, badminton, personal fitness with the weight training. Last year, Mr. Woodson, somehow, I don't know, I talked to Mr. Kimbrough, but he got the activities room. For those of you familiar with the activities room at the middle school, they moved the pool table out and the ping pong tables, and now we have some weights from the high school that they weren't using, and through his PE budget last year, he had ordered some weights for us. So I have the kids in there on every Thursday, the boys, and Kelly has the girls in there every Wednesday, so they're getting accustomed to it once a week. That's it for my presentation. I'm going to hand it over to Jennifer Johnson.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Johnson, and I am from the high school, and I'm going to be going really quickly through our curriculum. As far as our standards, we are coordinated with Michigan Benchmarks also. We are going through NCA. I'm going to talk about physical education, 9th for girls and boys. I'm going to go ahead and correlate them together. Things that we incorporate are muscular strength and endurance, cardiovascular endurance, body composition and flexibility, target heart rate and fitness testing, and then the sports of tennis, volleyball, basketball, badminton, softball, soccer, power walking, and weight training. One of our main goals is maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and I do teach at age and STD awareness unit also. And it's interesting how the students are so focused into that unit. They really want to learn more about it. And there's just an example of the girls doing the step. They really enjoy that. The boys, basically it's the same as the girls. The only difference is we do floor hockey, but they also do the AIDS and STD awareness unit. And they're also really interested, which is surprising. You think the boys don't want to hear about it and the overall healthy lifestyle fitness aspect, but they really do enjoy it. They enjoy doing Taibo. They enjoy doing different activities. Fitness for young women. This is a combination of low and high impact aerobics. They do step aerobics. They do a lot of hand weights, injury prevention, weight training, bench stepping, and elastic resistance training. And it's amazing that the students, they love that. They love using the resistance training with the elastic. I didn't think they were going to get into it this year, but they really did. Power walking is something that we do usually once a week. And then they talk about nutrition facts, and we have sessions and stress management. Usually the clinic will come in also and represent a lecture, and the students like someone else coming in, which is nice. Girls sports, this is involving all the different sports, and volleyball, softball, tennis, soccer, basketball, and badminton. It also includes power walking, aerobics, and weightlifting. The tennis and volleyball unit, this is something that the students are getting more and more involved in, and this is learning and practicing advanced skills, rules, officiating for both volleyball and tennis. And they learn the offense and defense and also the strategies used in the sports. They also learn the officiating, which they like to do in class. They like to go up there and represent as an official would. So that's something nice for them to do. And the boys do this also. Techniques of basketball. This is for the students to enhance their student scope of basketball, engage in the proper fitness techniques, rules, regulations, and strategies for the game. This is a big, in the high school, the students do enjoy this class. It's one of the electives that's probably fills quickly, the most quickly. So. Boys physical education in the fall. This is conditioning for flag football, soccer, basketball, floor hockey, and weight training. And in the spring, the conditioning for volleyball, badminton, softball, and track events. And our last course offered is weight training fitness for young men. And this enhances athletic abilities, studying flexibility, cardiovascular fitness, muscular strength, endurance, body composition, nutrition, weight training daily. This class is pretty much set up for the students to come in, have their own program. They like to work with the different weights and different strategies. And now Jason Balcom.
Hi, I'm Jason Balcom. I'll be covering the swimming classes. I teach the swimming classes at the high school as well as some science classes. Former wrestling coach at the high school as well. We offer 4 classes in the pool. By the way, the pool is beautiful. I know all of you have seen it at the grand opening that we had a couple years ago. It's an amazing pool. You get tons of compliments on it. If other people from other high schools come over, and they're amazed when they see our pool. We offer 4 classes. We have beginning swim, swim PE, lifeguard training, and advanced swim. First of all, beginning swim are for high school students who don't know how to swim. So they come in, we focus on water safety first of all, increase their level of comfort in the water, introduce them to the basic strokes. Then we move on to all the competitive strokes, focus on endurance so they can swim several laps, kind of use swimming as a way to increase their endurance and physical fitness. Then we do some diving, and I introduce them to some swimming games and things like that. Very good class. A lot of kids who take beginning swimming, who have so far at the high school, have come back to take other swim classes. I have some kids who are on their 4th time taking swimming. Sometimes it's good, sometimes not. Swim PE is more of a class geared towards kids who already know how to swim, but enjoy the water, and they want to get in and use swimming as a way to increase their endurance. So the first thing that we do in there is, after we go through all the water safety and stuff, I go through all the competitive strokes. Then they learn some diving techniques, and then I spend about a whole 6-week period on just endurance and fitness and get them to be able to swim laps. So they could come in after school to open swimming and swim laps for just physical education and just for increasing their endurance and physical fitness. Then what I do towards the end of the semester of swim PE, I try to prepare them to take lifeguard training, make sure they have the skills to pass the prerequisites to take lifeguard training, and then we go over some of the competition things in the case that we do eventually introduce a swim team or swim club, so some students have some background in that. Lifeguard training, they get certified to be lifeguards. We have several students who work in our pool at night and during the day now as lifeguards. We use some of our own students to lifeguard during our classes, which has turned out really well so far. The things that the students get certified in are CPR, emergency preparation, first aid, and obviously lifeguard training. And it's worked out real well. At the end of this class, I also take some time to prepare students to be certified as water safety instructor aides and water safety instructors, so they can go on to teach swim lessons. And I'll get to that in the next class. Advanced swim focuses a little bit more on that. So advanced swim is for the high school side of advanced swim. It's students who, from the high school, and I try to get students who mostly have been certified in lifeguard training, but I haven't been able to have that turnover. Sometimes they're taking other classes and they can't fit it in. But they come back and they take the advanced swim class where they come back and teach the 4th grade kids how to swim. And it's worked out great so far. The 4th graders love it. The high school kids have gotten a lot out of it. And it's just an amazing program. Teaches the high school students responsibility. They have to be accountable. They have to be there on time. They have to watch out for the safety of the kids. They have to supervise around the deck and the locker rooms. So from the high school standpoint of that class, it's helped these students tremendously. From the 4th grade standpoint, the kids just love coming over and having fun. They love the water, whether they can swim or not. They absolutely love it. The first thing that we do is we assess the levels of the 4th grade swimmers. And so we put them through just a variety of little drills, kind of assess who can swim, who can't swim, who's afraid of the water, things of that nature. Then we break them down into groups, and I have a high school kid work with each group. And the high school kids, I certify the high school kids as aides, as instructor aides. So they have some instructor ability. And so I kind of oversee all the groups, and the high school kids work with them. It's a 10-day program. So the first day is spent on the kids being assessed in their levels. And then the last day, we kind of go around. They somewhat have a free day, but it's a little more structured. And then we kind of assess their level as they leave the program as well. So like I said before, it's a tremendous program. The 4th grade kids absolutely love it. They're introduced. A lot of kids, you know, some of them are completely petrified of the water when they walk in, and when they walk out, they're jumping off the diving board. And it's amazing. The teachers, the 4th grade teachers are always amazed at how much progress these kids make in 10 days. So it helps them learn swimming techniques, promotes water safety, and obviously these kids learn how to swim, and hopefully as they get older, they'll use swimming as a physical education activity. There's a couple pictures of some of the kids. We do have some not really life vests, but they're swimming belts. They're aids to keep the kids afloat. So the kids that don't know how to swim, when they go into the deep end, they have those things on. We use the flippers. We have lots of equipment back there, and it's just a great program. Now I'm going to turn it over to Sheila Stazak. She's going to go over some of the recommendations for the physical education program.
Mr. Balcom, I have one question.
Yes.
When do you think we'll be ready to have a competitive swim team?
I think we're ready now to introduce a swim club.
Okay.
And I think a year or 2 at the max, we would be ready. We have several students who have either swam on teams at a different junior high, or have taken lessons where they're ready. To be actually competitive, it might be a few years, but I think we could introduce it fairly soon.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You say the recommendation.
Well, that's a surprise.
Seniority does have its benefits, I guess.
Mr. Woodson does.
Just the cloak.
Guess there's no recommendations.
Don't get off that.
There's still back there, you see it.
I teach science too,
Some of us are a little bit more up on technology, as you can see. Thank you. Okay, to our recommendations. The last sheet in your little packet there gives you an idea of the recommendations set out by the State Board of Education. I am proud to say that we meet 87% of their recommendations, so that's pretty awesome. As Anthony said, we have a pretty together department. I think we're even coming, the elementary's been there for a few years, and we are growing and really coming together with the secondary staff, and I'm proud of that. The state recommends 150 minutes per week for elementary students. We're a little shy of that. So our recommendation is, when we can, understanding that there's some hard times coming for school districts, we don't expect it next semester or next year, but ultimately what we'd like to see is 150 minutes per week for elementary students, and that would be an extra hour of gym a week than what we have right now. Right now, students are at 90 minutes a week. For the older kids, that's usually 2 45-minute classes. For some of the younger ones, it's 3 half hours. At the secondary level, we have 225 minutes per week. As long as a student's enrolled in a phys ed class, they're getting 225 minutes per week. However, we have a lot of students that don't take phys ed, so obviously we want to try to increase that also at the secondary level. Teacher to student ratio. Most of our classes have a real nice student-teacher ratio. However, we do have a few that have too many students for safety and for the area that's available. And as the chairperson of the Healthy Living Advisory Committee, I have to get this in. Needless to say, my passion is health, and I would like to see health offered for all students in Romulus, but minimally, we need to have something going at the high school. Again, I understand budget constraints are going to make it hard to add anything new, but hopefully before I retire, we can have some changes at the high school. And we need to add to a middle school swim program to our program. That's a large gap between the 4th graders at the elementary to when they get to the high school. So we'd like to start looking at that and seeing what we can do to get a middle school swim program going. And again, on behalf of our phys ed department, I'd like to thank you for giving us this opportunity. And I would like to announce a couple upcoming events. On January 15th, in conjunction with the Rec Department and Healthy Living Advisory Committee, we are sponsoring a New Year, New You Fun and Fitness Day, January 15th at the high school. We have a variety of activities that will take place that morning. And also June 20th and through the 24th, we're going to sponsor for the first time sports camps where coaches and phys ed teachers will run 11 different team sport camps for about a half day each session. And I'll open up the floor for any questions you might have.
Madam President,
Ms. Lanasi.
I want to know where the climbing wall is. What building is that in?
Wick.
Wick? For heaven's sakes. I got to get over and take a look at that thing.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Jason, how big a percentage of our 4th graders are actually learning to swim?
The percentage that probably is going from not knowing how to swim to learning how to swim, I would say...
The mic.
Would you please use the mic, Mr. Balcom?
The percentage probably, if I had to estimate, I would say about 60% at least. There is a percentage that, that's probably 60% of all the kids. There is a percentage that already knows when they get there, and then there's another percentage that's, you know, petrified of the water, and it takes us 2 or 3 days just to get their face in. Usually the groups, we usually separate them into 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 4s know how to swim, the ones that are scared. The 2s and 3s usually know how to swim by the end of the program.
Is that the right age for us to be doing that?
I think it's a perfect age. Size, the depth of the pool and the size of the kids works out perfectly, and them meshing with the high school kids works out perfectly as well. So it seems to be working well.
Okay. Mr. Cudere.
Back to your the swim team and the swim club. It would be a lot better if we went with the swim club first, wouldn't we?
I think to introduce a swim club first would probably be appropriate.
What type of, is it too late to do something like that, or how hard would it be to get that implemented?
Swim clubs typically run in the spring, and that is because the girls compete in the fall, the boys compete in the winter, so this gives a lot of high schools an opportunity to get their kids involved in the club in the spring, and girls and boys usually swim together. They're usually age group clubs. They go from 8 and under to 15 and 16, and then if we started that way, we could compete with those other clubs. So I think this spring could be a possibility.
We would have to have
We'd have-
events at our pool, and
Sure.
we would travel to different areas and
Correct, yes.
be on weekends or during the week, probably. Do you know?
Typically, the swim clubs are done on weekends. Usually, they're not affiliated necessarily with their schools.
Just cities is basically.
Right,
Okay.
right. They're usually city programs, and we have had one. We've held one competition at our pool so far. I forgot to mention that. I think Belleville Swim Club held one.
Madam
Mr.
Chairman,
McCabe, yes.
in the high school PE program, for the students who are taking the gym classes, they don't get to the pool at all, even for a 2-week period, or?
No, right now we have separate swim classes that they can sign up for, so it's not part of the PE curriculum. It's just their whole separate semester classes of all swimming.
Is there any opportunity that may happen in the future?
We discussed that when we opened the pool, of that being an option of how we would go about introducing swimming. There's a possibility. As the classes go now, they're semester-long classes, so the pool is full for those hours for the whole thing. So I think that could work. It would just take some restructuring.
And as far as like the elementary PE, when you do your AIDS, HIV, does that taking the students out of their phys ed time for the classroom instruction, or? So you can't get it worked out where it comes out of something else?
Somebody here would have to cover for us.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Just to echo,
I'm sorry. I just got a question for Ms. Stasak. Is there any health being taught in the gym classes at the elementary level? I mean, some kind of hygiene, AIDS awareness, or, because I know that we don't actually have a health class, so are we doing that in our gym classes?
Some of us teach Michigan model health curriculum. I teach it. My first and second graders get a half-hour health every week, but of course I don't do as much phys ed then because I'm taking from phys ed time. My third through fifth graders get a 45-minute session every other week, and my sixth graders have 3 to 4 units that I do. So that's how they get in health. And I know some of the other phys ed teachers periodically do health lessons. So.
Okay, so not all of us are doing health?
No, not all of us are doing health.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry.
I just wanted to just reinforce what Mark and Sheila said, that the PE group here is a really focused and passionate group, and I think they have accelerated this program significantly last 5 years. I think we have a PE program that's second to none in the state. You guys have done a great job in pulling together, and you're certainly worth all your recommendations. Done a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you all for being
Thank
here
you.
tonight.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Everybody don't leave at one time.
The next item you have is a recommended field trip for the Advanced Placement Government class. So I need a motion to allow this group to go, and it's described in some detail on the second page.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the high school's Washington, D.C. trip.
Support. Any questions on
Hard
the
to
trip?
get that one out.
Is the only cost, we have to cover the teacher for a couple days? Is that they're covering the rest with their fundraising?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Mr. Ruthier.
Thank you, Mr. Carr. Before you is is recommendation by way of the Finance Committee to purchase a point-of-sale system for cafeteria equipment. This equipment will be charged to the cafeteria budget, which last June 30th was $380,000 roughly. It will increase the line speed, which will allow our students more time in the cafeteria to digest and go through the line and get the products that they feel are appropriate, as well as increase our cash accountability and hopefully accounts for our Title I funding, which you all know we receive roughly $1 million a year through the federal government through the Title I program, and it's based on our free and reduced counts that we take, or or that are documented back in October. So the recommendation would be that bringing this system online would increase those areas that I just mentioned, as well as increase our efficiency in the food service operation, which is something that we should always strive to do. This will also tie into software. It's the Zangle system that we use for a lot of our student database, as well as payroll applications in some instances. So it's already, a system is already in place that we are already using by way of Wayne County RESA, and this will allow us to utilize that even further.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion to purchase a point-of-sale software for the food service operation.
I'll support.
Are there any questions? I have one.
Oh, go ahead, I got some too.
Okay. Mr. Ruthier, which elementary school will this be piloted at? You said high school and one elementary school. Which one will that
We
be?
haven't determined which one that will be. We'll probably take a larger school because it would be much more easier to implement at one of our elementaries with a lesser population than one with more. So we haven't decided which elementary that we're going to pilot first, but it will be one of them. And then once we have worked out the problems, we'll roll it out to the middle school and the remaining elementary schools.
And where will we be starting this? Is there any?
We have to acquire the equipment. Will probably take us a couple weeks or so, probably around second semester or thereabouts.
Okay. Ms. White?
That was my question when he was saying pilot, but he said they were gonna roll it out into all the schools. The only other question that I have, will there be an increase in meal prices?
Oh, no.
Because of the new software or anything?
No, absolutely not. In fact, this should make us even more efficient. You know, we haven't raised our prices in a couple of years anyhow with our student prices, and we have no intention of doing anything to the contrary unless, of course, we ran into a deficit, and we don't foresee that as well.
Okay.
Any other questions? No other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And then,
Okay, motion carried. Thank you.
thank you. Then the last item that I have is just an FYI relative to future purchases for buses and 2 pickup trucks. We are in desperate need of purchasing at least, our recommendation would be to purchase 5 replacement buses for in our current fleet. There's 491s and 193. The mileage is roughly 111,700 miles to as much as 152,900. The vehicles that we've identified for replacement were rag-tagged in our last State of Michigan bus inspection, which occurred last November. And these are vehicles that we really need to retire from our fleet, if you will, and to get something that's new and more suitable for our current needs. The 2 pickup trucks would be 1990 pickup trucks, so they're already 14 years old. While they're not high mileage vehicles, I think the most is 65,000. You know, they get a tremendous amount of use for snow removal and all the other things that we do with pickup trucks. So we're really in need of those replacement as well. The buses, we will use the Michigan School Business Officials standard statewide bid process. That's what we used the last time. And once we've established the bid spec, we will bring that pricing back to you for your subsequent approval. We also have a spec for the pickup trucks. That is a standard specification that we've used for some length of time here in Romulus and has worked very well for us. These are beefed up pickups, and it's our intent to get as much longevity out as we can from these vehicles. We'll take that specification and go to some dealers and or factories to try to come up with them meeting our needs. I'm not sure if we can get that out of inventory, probably not. These may be vehicles that we'll have to order to specification or to our specification, so there may be some lag time, but again, once we have bids from whomever vendors we happen to are fortunate enough to hook up with, we'll bring that back to you as well.
I have a question, Mr. Ruthie.
That's right.
What is the plan for the 5 vehicles that are going to be replaced? Or have you put a plan in motion in relationship to that?
The vehicles that we're replacing are the stub nose vehicles, the buses that we're currently in. We'll just swap them out. These are full-size vehicles, and we'll just swap them out. It'll be transparent to most people, I mean, other than the replacement of the vehicle.
No, I meant like, you know, sometimes when we purchase new buses, new trucks, the other trucks or buses are salvaged or highest bidder. What was the?
We'll come back with a recommendation that we put these out for bid and run an ad probably and try to have somebody come by and bid on them, which is usually our normal course of action.
Used buses with 150,000 are not real desirable, but they do sell.
Not unless you go on MIS.
You don't get a lot of money for them. Okay.
Come to the point.
Use some buses.
Communications and expressions from the public. We don't have any, so Superintendent Carr.
Items of interest are, I believe, self-explanatory. Our next board meeting will be Monday, January 10th. We did not schedule a second meeting in December because of the holiday. We wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Same to you, Joe.
Thank you.
Any questions or concerns of board members?
Madam Chair, I have a
Yes, Ms. White.
question. Mr. Carr, and I don't know how much of this you could talk about. Could you tell us a little bit about this, well, I want to say workshop seminar that we attended? I believe it was a week and a half ago or 2 weeks at Edsel Ford Police. And I think it's We Make a Difference or something like that.
The Tri-County Alliance of Superintendents has formed itself over the last couple of years. And one of the main missions of the Tri-County Alliance, which includes about 85 school districts in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb County, is to improve the school finance laws and school finance situation in the state of Michigan. School districts are in the 3rd year running with the same number of dollars per pupil they've had each of these years. As a result, our finances and the finances of the schools across the state have been going down very, very quickly to the point where programs are being eliminated. In our case, jobs are not being filled. We are down a good number of employees from last year due to attrition. We've not laid anyone off in Romulus to this point. Next year is certainly no more hopeful than the past couple of years, and we've eaten up several $1 million of our fund equity. And as we entered into this year's budget, we budgeted to use up virtually the entire balance of our fund equity, of our savings account, if you will. So the Tri-County Alliance has organized itself and gone to work to try to modify the funding system by putting a tremendous amount of pressure upon our legislators. Part of that is each of us is to get a hold of our appropriate legislators and let them know that we want them to participate and be positive towards schools. And the Tri-County Alliance created a pledge that they could each sign to support schools. I approached both of our legislators, Representative Hopgood and Senator Basham, and I've received responses from both of them. Senator Basham wrote me a very lengthy and supportive letter, which we received today, and Representative Hopgood returned the signed pledge. Mr. Basham supports the pledge. He didn't actually sign the particular pledge, but he gave us a more detailed document. So we've got tremendous support from our local legislators. The committee that we created in Romulus consists of about 20 people who were present at this meeting a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to have another meeting on January 12th to invite more, and we're inviting more folks, and we'd like anyone who's interested in the community to come January 12th, 6:30 at the High School Media Center to discuss future plans and things that we might do to approach the legislature and put them to work thinking about what it's going to take improve the financing of schools. There's no mechanism in there to meet the increasing costs, and there needs to be some changes in the law to make this happen. So we're beginning a grassroots effort, and this grassroots effort is meant to build a long-term solution rather than the stopgap measures that we see in the news that are going on week by week and month by month. In addition, the Tri-County Alliance is also going to issue a report card on the legislators. We've been having all kinds of report cards on the schools by anybody and their brother, it seems, and they don't necessarily have criteria for the way they grade us. And but we have criteria in the Tri-County Alliance, and the Tri-County Alliance will be grading A, B, C, D, E legislators on their commitment and their involvement in trying to deal with the most important business of the state of Michigan, which is educating our children. So we in Romulus have a tremendous reputation for doing very, very good things. We're already ahead of the crowd on this one because we've got both of our legislators on board already. Many of the others are just beginning to make contacts. So we're ahead of the game on this. We are hooked up with a couple of different lobbying organizations and lobbying firms and so forth, and we are going ahead full speed. We had something happen good this past week. The legislature, just before it went out of session, passed a $120 million transfer from the general fund into the education fund to take care of the 03-04 deficit and what they perceive to be the 04-05 deficit. So they say they won't be reducing our funding for this year. That's very good news, but all it does is restore us to this place we were last year and the year before. It does not take us one penny forward from where we were 2 years ago. And things do cost a little more now than they did a few years ago. We're fortunate in our community. We are growing slowly in student population. That has helped us to maintain our program. But the costs are going up, and we need to have fundamental relief. That's what this group is about, and that's what these meetings were about.
Thank you, Mr. Carr.
And that's our high school, right?
Yes, the meeting will be, yeah, I'll say the meeting is 6:30 p.m., January 12th, in our high school media center.
Media center.
Anybody else?
Madam Chair, if I can, please.
Ms. Freer.
I would just like to remind everybody and actually invite everybody to the grand opening for the Guidance Center. It's this Wednesday, December 15th at, I believe it's from 8 to about 6. It's all day. So if you get a chance to get out, it's going to be held at the Burton Center. We are asking people to use the west doors as an entrance so that we can kind of control who's coming in, because we do have school going on at that time. So again, I would just like to remind and invite everybody, if you get a chance, to come out and visit the new Guidance Center that is going to be offered to the Romulus residents. It's really, I've looked at a few different programs even outside of Romulus, and this is really something that our community can benefit from. So like I said, if you get a chance to come out, it would be nice.
Thank you. Mr. Minkiewicz.
Quick question on the cafeteria. When I was there a while back, they were making changes. Have we had to add any employees to that? Because I know they were having problems with the one line where they make the sandwiches. The lady couldn't keep up, and they had to take someone from one other spot to there. Have they got that running smooth? Have they added somebody, or what are we working at?
They have a request in to me to add for that position.
Because when I was there, I mean, the food looked great. The kids were going through it well. It was just the problem of not enough hands.
Right.
Thank you.
Ms. White.
I just wanted to make a comment to let the board know and our viewers that the Early Childhood Education Committee, we have completed the video. We received funding through the Great Start Grow Smart grant, and there was a early childhood video completed in conjunction with the Romulus Public Library, the Romulus School District, and the Guidance Center Family Resource Center. So after editing, we hope to see that after the first of the year, but it has been completed finally.
Wonderful. Okay, anybody else? Mr. Cooterich.
Yeah, I'd like to comment on Mrs. Drieg over at Wick School, their meet and eat. They were talking about childhood obesity with the PE teachers, and they had a pretty good presentation over there for some of the parents, and she runs a pretty good program over there with the parents coming in. They have another activity that they can have their children go to. So it gets the children out of the way, keeps them occupied, so the parents can listen to what's going on. And also was invited over to the junior high for a band concert they had over there. Mr. Hernandez is doing a great job with them kids, and Barth's band concert, winter concert, they had a good program over there.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Technology.
Go for it.
No? Okay. Nothing else?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think we should congratulate our girls' basketball team for taking the mega championship, district championship, and the finals and the regionals. They had a great year, and I'd just like to tell them congratulations from all of us.
Great, yeah.
Mr. Nasi.
This has something to do with my senior center. We are doing shots, flu shots, the 20th of this month from 10 a.m. till. We have 200 vials they're bringing out, so my message is to all of our teachers to come in and get their shots. They have been signing up, and those of you who don't have your shots, come on over. No restrictions. All the restrictions have been lifted.
When is that again?
What's the price?
$20, thank you.
When is the
$20
date, Betty?
And the 20th of the month?
20th,
At the
yes, a
senior
week
center.
from today.
2020.
Do you have a
20
time frame?
Yep, what times?
Starts at 10.
10 a.m.
10 until.
Mm-hmm.
Probably till they run.
And I would say if you're going to get your shot, since there's going to be a mass crowd from 10 probably to 11, maybe 11 o'clock would be your better time to come in. I don't know if you have to fill all the forms out this time. We haven't got we haven't got any forms. I think you're just coming in and you'll have to sign waivers or whatever.
I know I've already called.
Yeah,
and
Ed and I got it.
Made
signed
your
up.
appointment?
Yep, me, my wife, and 2 kids.
Good. We're getting a lot of teachers, and I'm real happy about that, but we've got a lot more teachers than that have signed
Well, we
up.
did offer a clinic, and we were unable to receive any vaccines,
yes.
so all of our teachers were shut out.
Yeah, yes, and I appreciate that. I also want to let the public know, too, they are welcome. If you need a flu shot, come in to the Romulus Senior Center, 10 o'clock, January the 20th.
Now, Ms.
December.
Lanasi, do you have to
December
sign up prior?
I mean, December 20th, pardon me.
Do you have to sign up prior? Do they need to call the center first? They can't just come up?
Yes, you've got to, we've got to know. They want to know when we reach a certain number, and they'll probably bring more files out. I don't know. I don't know how that works with them. I'm not a...
So they need to call the senior center
Call the
first.
senior center, 955-4120. Whoever answers, just tell them you want to sign up for for a shot, and they'll sign you up.
Okay, thank you, yes.
Okay, since Ms. Freyer won't say anything about the technology committee,
I don't know everybody on the committee.
the folks at the technology committee, Ed Horn and his group of teachers and everything over there, making great progress. They're getting the website
Media
up to
techs as
date.
well.
And it's really coming along pretty good. You can find a lot of information on there. The students are finding out they got the Encyclopedia Britannica on the web that these kids can go into. So 10 years ago when we were worried about what we were going to buy our kids, I mean, they can pull it up there. It's up to date. You can go on to the individual schools. You can find out what's going on a lot faster than your children actually bring home the newsletter.
I actually was
Yeah,
on
it's
it
nice.
today.
So
It is
and
nice.
it's
Very
got a
nice.
lot of good good features that's user friendly too.
Yeah, it's very nice.
It's coming along really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good stuff on the board.
Thank you for
Just flip, they
reporting
rotate.
on that. And as I asked the board members before, when you have your initiatives, if you could just give us an update every now and then, we would appreciate that. So is that it? Happy holidays to everybody. Be
You too.
safe.
Right back at
You
you.
too.
And
I'd like to
we
make
have
a motion to
motion.
adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
Support.
Tudor, support.
All in favor?
Aye.